And with that, FreyasSpirit is off and Nintoaster is also off, so...
Good luck to both of these runners. This is going to be a very, very awesome matchup here.
Yeah, definitely. So one thing I'm kind of interested in is what safeties are these runners going to put into their run, because since this is any percent, anything can happen. I mean, if you look at most of the weekly results, like if you look at the results from the weeklies, there's almost always a forfeit. So
that's a very good point. That is a very good point, BPS. I feel like, you know, 9 times out of 10, you'll see at least 3 to 4 people forfeit, and sometimes you'll see half the people forfeit. So any percent is not an easy thing to do, even if it is one of the more popular categories.
Also, the sync.
Yes, some amazing series sync from the start, y'all. Let's hope this continues throughout the whole thing. This will be an amazing match if that happens.
Looks like I'm calling Kip out now.
And for series times, we're going to get a 44.80 and a 44.17 out of our runners. Very good times out of both of them for series station.
Yeah, there's 2 different mentalities that one can have when doing these races. They could either be racing for a PB, or they could be racing to win. So that taking safeties or whatever, because if either of these runners are going to be basically going for a PB, then they're going to be going for risky strats, which can lead them to losing the race and dying.
I do feel like Freyas might go for a few extra safeties because they do like to do race safety stuff for the obvious reasons. Like, we've also seen so much stuff happen in these tournaments between certain commentators soft-locking a stand-up and not having a save, or other certain people, you know, failing lava dives, which thankfully in any percent you're not going to really have those, but there are other things in any percent that could very much happen, and without a safety, that could be very detrimental.
So it looks like Freyas is going to be using Meme Walk this run. So the type of safeties I'm expecting are like probably a 5 tank run. I mean, that's the average, because those are the safeties that are in the way, but aren't super far out of the way to get. I mean, because the 3 tanks you normally see would be the Terminator E-tank, the High Jump Boots E-tank, and the Batoon E-tank, because they're right there in the way. And the 2 safety tanks would be Kraid Tank and Ridley Tank. And we might not see some of the runners skip either of those, if not both.
I'd wager we'd see Freyas probably do more of a 4-tank run as opposed to 5 tanks. I do know that they've been practicing the 3-tank runs a whole heck of a lot lately, so we'll see what they ultimately decide to do.
So this is really the beginning of the any percent run. There's not too much to say now, other than looks like they're both going to be going for the behemoth climb. So that's pretty interesting. We normally see runners go for right side climb, but today looks like they're both doing behemoth.
And it looks like both of them went up the left side initially on Parlor, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to be seeing Nintoaster be the first one of bombs at 456, and Freya's hot on his heels at a 501.
Those are some very good bomb times, and a 456 without Moonwalk is a really nice time.
Unfortunately, Freyas had taken a little bit of damage. That could have ended up being really bad due to drops, but they did get the 2 missiles that they needed to finish off the fight.
Yeah, it's never good to see anyone leave BT with less than 5 missiles. Looks like Nintoaster is actually going for the D-boost into the pirate room. So that actually makes so he only takes damage from 2 of the pirates, so he actually left that room with 10 more health than he normally would if you're just D-boost through the pirates like Freyas is right now. But I think that confirms that neither of them are going to be doing New Route, because in New Route you would want to have as much health as possible leaving, or going into Phantoon.
And then Toaster got the good mock ball. Let's see if Freyas gets it as well. And they do. Very nice. It's that's one of the very first gatekeepers when you very first start running this game, and it's one of those things that just becomes routine, but nothing is ever free in this game. So good job on both of our runners to pick that up.
Gameaholic New Route saves about 1 minute, I want to say, or not, 100 seconds RTA and loses about 100 seconds in-game. That's about the number. Or at least that's what I've heard.
Ooh, and then Toaster getting that really nice big pink down back. That is not an easy thing to get. We saw Freyas get the mock ball. Let's see if they get it as well. Unfortunately, just missing it.
That D-boost over that one little platform going into the gate they make it look so easy, but I find it's a lot harder than it looks when trying to do it myself. So Nintoaster's movement is on point right now.
And I can definitely wager that I'll definitely wager that Freyas will go down as well. But they are at the moment of truth here, and they do go down. So old route race it is.
So in old route, they're going to be fighting the bosses in the intended order, or intended by Deer Force, and that order is starting with Kraid, and then killing Phantoon, then Dragon, and then Ridley. That differs from New Route because that's starting with Phantoon, then going down to Ridley, then Kraid, and then Dragon, which is much harder.
Oh, and unfortunately Freyas is missing the jump for the quick entry, but they did get all the missiles in. Super missiles, my bad. And Nintoaster approaching Kraid. We'll see if he decides to take Kraid to prom or not.
Looks like he's setting up for the missile setup. Freya's staring down at Idor a bit just before killing with a super. And Nintoaster with a nice crate quick kill. Looks like Freyas is setting up for the back crate quick kill. And it looks like we're seeing a prom date.
Oh no! Unfortunately, that prom. That's gonna be some time.
Crate is one of those fights that's just really annoying to fight normally. Sometimes you can forget how to do it after you mess up the quick kill, but it looks like Freya took him down pretty easily, which is good.
You bring up a good point about that, BPS, is that we all know how to fight Kraid, but I don't think any of us really know how to fight him if we get the stand-up glitch.
So Nintoaster's missile counts are very, very bad right now, because he's leaving that room with 0 missiles, so he's going to have to accommodate for not having missiles. Alright, looks like he got some safeties. Because one of the issues with not having any missiles is that when you select, you won't select the empty missiles, you'll just go straight to supers, so it could mess up with his selecting. Nintoaster with a nice 2-platform business center. And Nintoaster picking up one of the best items in the entire game, high jump boots. Movement in this game feels so weird without them. So speaking of safeties, I forgot to mention earlier, both of the runners picked up Kraid Tank, which is one of the safeties that you can pick up in this run. If you're doing a 3-tank run, you would normally skip it. That's usually the last tank you get rid of.
And Nintoaster about to make his way into the room that has the true final boss of this game. We'll see how he fares on Bubble Mountain.
Honestly, I find a Cack Attack in Red Tower to be even worse than this one. Oh, but it looks like he got trolled by King Cack. Oh, looks like Bubble Mountain's just not being nice to him. This is one of those rooms where if it goes wrong, it really goes wrong.
And unfortunately, Nintoaster getting trolled really hard here. We'll see if Freya's any better.
Yeah, King Cack was just not being nice. Alright, Freya's up first try. So that closed the gap between the two runners. I find that if you do pseudo screws, that Cack Attack is a lot less of a worry. Freya's opting to open that door with normal missiles. And I'd just like to point out that Nintoaster is using A button to run, and Freyas is using B button to run. So I want to say that Freyas is probably using the default flipped, like with a Y and select flip, and Nintoaster just doing something completely different.
If I recall correctly, I think Freya's has shoot on X.
Also, this.
Oh, and the singles chamber going into doubles. We're getting some sync here.
So Freyas' super missile count is very low right now. So I think the optimal number you want to be leaving Lower Warfare with, in my opinion, would be 3, because you'd be able to get back up to 5 heading in direct ship. However, you can leave Lower Warfare with 2 and be fine. You'd only have 1 super for Phantom, though.
Having supers for Phantom is actually, depending on which method you use, and even if you do Doppler, is still way more important than you'd think. I do know that Freyas is the hybrid method on Phantom, and if you don't have any supers, the ending part of that, if you're not careful for your menuing over to power bombs for the X Factor, you can, like, that fight can go real bad real fast if you're not careful on that.
So, hopefully you'll see some of these Sovas down here drop some supers for Freyas, because right now they're going to be leaving Lower Warfare with a really bad super count, because they're going to need to farm somewhere.
There are the 3 cacks along the way. There's the one below Spazer, and then the 2 at Red Tower that they can get. So
yeah, but even if they farm both of those cacks, they still won't have any supers for Phantom.
True.
Unless they decide to open the Ghidorah with missiles. So no supers along the way. So they're gonna have to find somewhere to farm. Nintoaster setting up for an Alpha Spark. Looks like he just decided not to go for it. Just skipping the attack altogether.
And it looks like Freyas was going for an Alpha Spark there, but was unable to charge that spark. Nintoaster having a really beautiful Hellway there.
Looks like Freyas got that super that they needed.
Very nice drop.
Also, I feel like that beeping is probably from my end. So sorry about that. Not sure what it was. And it looks like I completely missed the party zone mock ball, which I just completely missed it, so sorry about that. So Freyas will have 1 super for Phantom, and Nintoaster will have 2 supers for Phantom.
So, an interesting thing there that we saw out of both runners, where Nintoaster shot the charge shot up to kill that top cack attack, and then went ahead and killed the bottom cack attack afterwards. Freyas shot the top cack attack only once, and then killed the bottom cack attack first. What this will do for you, it's really for ammo management, because this way, if you have, say, 4 supers and you only need the 1, you don't get the 2 super drops that you would typically have.
So Nintoaster actually got pretty unlucky with the powerbomb drops earlier, but got really lucky enough to get a powerbomb drop from the Key Hunter, which has a 4 out of 102 chance of dropping it. So it's always nice to see one of those drop a powerbomb. And it looks like Freyas has actually taken the lead.
It looks like Freyas might be going for some Nintendo Power chat. Or for some Nintendo Power strats. We got some spoilers in chat. Let's see if it comes true.
Freyas with a nice mock ball into Phantom, or into the Ghidorah area. Now I think about it though, Nintendo Power is kind of being dumb by having these strats, because it's like 5 supers for Phantom. I mean, if you're going straight to Phantom and then doing Brinstar cleanup, you'd only have 5 supers for Phantoon. Nintoaster with a very nice X Factor.
Fortunately, Phantoon being a little bit trolly for Freya's there and taking his sweet time to come back onto the screen, but Freya's did get the X Factor in.
So Nintoaster with a second X Factor, and looks like both runners with a very nice X Factors. And Freya's with that. Freya's with the hybrid strat.
Hybrid strats, best strats.
I can confirm that hybrid strats are amazing. Yeah, those are some really nice Phantoons.
Yeah, definitely out of both runners with the two-rounding Phantoon. Like, it looks a little bit easy, but it's definitely not.
So I'm excited to see this left side attic from Freyas. I'm hoping that they get it, because it looks really great when they do.
I am in agreement. I really hope they are able to go for it and get it, but we'll see if they choose to do that or a safer attic spark for race strats.
Looks like we're seeing race strats.
Oh, and unfortunately Freya's goops the attic spark. That's going to unfortunately cost some ammo here.
But this race is really close. It looks like we're actually going to be seeing both runners just in bowling at the same time. And after about 20 minutes and not even 30 seconds apart, I mean, that's a big thing.
Oh, and like Freya's got the spark. Will they get the entire bowler spark?
Looks like they didn't goop it. So, both in the Torizo's hands at basically the same time.
Y'all, this has been an amazing back and forth race. Go follow those runners while we're at bowler.
This is a really amazing race.
This bowler, however, is not so good as he's off the lane and into a completely new building.
No, I've never thought of it that way. And neither of the runners skipping Gravity Suit.
Oh, and unfortunately, neither runner getting the very beautiful moat spark. Looks like Nintoaster got the moat missiles, and I missed that?
Yeah, Nintoaster picked them up, going into Phantoon. Nintoaster not getting the powerbomb drop that he wanted, though.
Thankfully, though, there are plenty of places to farm those still along the way. If he does indeed need one, he does have more than he needs, though, to get them ready at this point.
I think he has, I'm pretty sure 4 is the right amount, because you need 1 for the tube, 1 for Aqueduct, and then 1 for Batoon and Dragon. So yeah. Or 1 for Batoon, then 1 for Dragon.
Engage.
Okay.
And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we've been visited by a very special guest, Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise.
That's amazing. Guess Nintoaster must have forgotten follower alerts. Looks like we sent him too much stuff.
Everybody, make sure to go follow those runners.
That's an amazing follower alert, though. It took me a moment to figure out what that was. And Nintoaster with a very nice mock ball in the aqueduct. That was beautiful.
That mock ball is not an easy thing to get. Like, at all. Like, it's no different, really, than the big pink, than the mock ball into Big Pink. It's, like, the same button presses, but for some reason, the one into Aqueduct is so much more difficult.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, and unfortunately, Freyas didn't have Power Bomb selected, but they realized it in time and went for some backup super strats on the bot one.
Looks like they might... We're gonna get a 3-round, probably? Maybe a 4-round, I don't know. But Nintoaster got a nice 2-round.
Yeah, Nintoaster, I believe, had all 4 of the X-Factor particles hit.
Okay, based on how much the lead has been changing over this race, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that happen again. Looks like he just did a sideways spark. I guess that's the null halfie.
That's the reverse scoop spark there.
Looks like Freyas isn't gonna be getting that either.
Both runners having a very nice Coliseum so far.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it looks like they're in about the same spot now. So that bonk just cost Nintoaster enough time to basically put Freyas right on his heels. And
alright, Freyas will be the first one into Dragon! All these lead changes, y'all, this has been an absolutely amazing race.
so, based on ammo, it looks like Freyas has a slight advantage because they're able to Super Dragon. So they actually have 400 more damage than Nintoaster does.
Very nice first sparks out of both of these runners.
Are they gonna get the same patterns as well? No, they're not. That would have been amazing had they gotten the same patterns. And...
Oh, unfortunately a goop spark. Nintoaster, unfortunately, with a goop spark as well. Freyas will be the first one to take down Dragon and pick up the blue suit.
And Nintoaster. Nintoaster also getting the blue suit. Looks like neither of them are gonna go for Spike suit. Spoiler alert, both of these runners are actually just the same stream. This is all pre-recorded.
One of them has a delay. Nintoaster having a whole heck of a lot more health here than Freyas will make coming sections a little bit easier.
Looks like Freyas is playing it safe with that halfie, or reversible halfie, because they charged it right at the top of the thing while Nintoaster charged it in a room before. And Fruit Bat Salad pointing out that Freyas is actually on PB pace right now.
And both runners taking a few seconds to farm up. Nintoaster going to take a little bit more, which is going to give Freyas a small lead. Oh, and unfortunately, Freya's getting hit by that pancake and that leech. Gonna have to be a little bit careful here in Pancake Tower now.
Yeah, this place is not the safest room. Especially with this health right now. So I want to say that these pirates... I want to say they deal 40 damage per hit. So they will be able to take one hit safely, but other than that, this is not the best health. Freyas farming those Puyos there. Definitely a good call.
And neither runner getting wrecked by that pancake. That is the second major boss of this run in reality, right behind the Cacatac on Bubble Mountain. Sometimes that pancake will just float back in your direction and knock you all the way back down.
Freyas with a very nice mock ball into, or was that mock ball? I couldn't tell. It looked like a mock ball into that room. And Nintoaster just seconds behind them, so...
Nintoaster also having more energy, which is going to be important coming up if they both take the southern route, or even if they take the northern route on the way to Lower Norfair, because there's the energy refill, the Nutella refill station, or the farming bugs, and we'll see if either of them decide to bypass that, although with the health they currently have, I personally would not.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because the runners are able to either, Freyas unfortunately missing that space jump into the room, and it looks like Nintoaster actually got the morph in there, closing the gap between the two runners. But anyway, so there's a bit of a route divergence that could occur right now. The runners could either go straight down to the, or go down after getting Ice Beam, like blow up some Power Bomb blocks and then go over to the Nutella refill. Or you could go to the... Very sorry. Or you could just do an Ice Escape to go over to the... and just go out. Forgot the name of the room. Go through the Speed Booster Tunnel. It looks like Nintoaster is going to be going through Speed Booster Tunnel, while Freyas is going to be heading down to Nutella refill.
And Freyas, unfortunately, just missing the Moonball there. Will be taking the southern route. Does have the option to Nutella refill, which I would argue is faster for the energy refill than the farm bugs, but...
Honestly, I'm not sure we'll see Nintoaster farming.
And you're correct, we're not going to see Nintoaster farming, so Nintoaster being confident with the 361 energy he has going into Lower Norfair.
Honestly, it looks like both of them are going to be right next to each other. So Freyas laying the Power Bomb just a bit after, not getting the Chronic Boost, though.
And Nintoaster did, however, so we'll see just how much of a difference that makes.
So that increased the gap between them by about... They're about 3 seconds apart now. So this entire time... This entire run, they're just seconds apart. This is one of the craziest races I've seen. Not... almost on par with the Slowder's Fusda race that we had the other day. I'm not gonna lie.
That race was nuts! Oh, and Freya's getting the very beautiful down back. I didn't happen to see if Nintoaster did.
Both of the runners getting the fast pillars. See how they do worst room in a game. Looks like they're doing worst room in a game the same exact way, basically. So these are actually the same feeds right next to each other, just copied and pasted.
Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, we have almost 100% sync coming into Amphitheater.
So I saw a question in chat about PBs, so...
I don't know offhand, Mumu, unfortunately.
So Nintoaster has a PB of 49.52, and Freyas has a PB of 53.56. So honestly...
And Freya's taking the lead again. I missed what happened there to be able to give them the lead, but Freya's is now back in the lead.
Honestly, this looks like it's going to be a really big PB, if you ask me.
I certainly hope so. I do know that Freya's have been working very, very hard, and they've had multiple paces on PB pace, so let's hope this one comes through.
So Freyas correcting me in chat, they don't actually post a DT, so I was pulling the PB from Deer Tier, so her PB is actually a 51.45. I guess that makes a bit more sense. I mean, that's still a really good PB, though.
And Nintoaster are going to be the first one into Ridley. Another lead change.
But Ridley can do anything, so this fight can be a defining moment in the run. Also, there's another safety right after this fight, Ridley tank, that we might see one of the runners go for. So Ridley tank will give them another E-tank, and more importantly, a refill for leaving lower Norfair.
So it's going to take, with the current beam combo, 20 charged shots to kill Ridley. And oh my god, we have
kill!
The sync kill! How insane is this?
This is amazing. Are they on the same feed right now? I mean, seriously. What is this sync?
Y'all, PogChamp's out in chat for this race. This has been absolutely insane.
I'm just gonna call it now. This is probably one of the highlight races of the entire tournament. I mean, we've seen a lot of good races this tournament already, and we're only in round 3. I mean, there's still the...
Look at this, another lead change already!
I mean, there's still 3 more rounds to go after this one, and the top 8, so... This is insane.
Oh, and shoutouts to Kojak there. That blue door did not know what hit it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Nintoaster having more power bombs than Freyas is gonna give him an advantage on this.
So these key hunters are not looking nice right now. So they're... Both runners are entering the red... or the Three Musketeers room with about half health. Oh, Nintoaster taking a hit there, so now he can only take 2 hits from the key hunters. Whereas Freyas can take 3.
We'll see what strat they decide to do. If they decide to use the iframes to go through them, or if they decide to tank the damage or use the Gotham strat, which is where they just kill the key hunters from below. Like the scrubs they are.
Honestly, killing the key hunters would probably be the safest strat. And that looks like that's what they're doing. Because there's no reason to be losing a race just to key hunters.
And Frey's going to be the first one up, gets their key hunters killed very quickly, and moving on to the next room with Nintoaster right behind him.
Also, I've said this a lot already, but they're 40 minutes in right now and they're at basically the same spot. Like 40 minutes and 19 seconds in and they're in the same door.
All right, so Frey is just a few moments, just a few seconds, if that, behind Nintoaster.
Oh, so one thing that can change the course of the run, since they're both entering Turian, are Metroid drops, which it looks like won't be the worst problem now because they've got 10 supers going into Turian, but also Metroid skip, because
Metroid skip's gonna be a big one because I've seen Freyas get it, I think, once or twice in practice. Y'all, I am on the edge of my seat here. This has been an absolutely insane race, and it's coming down to the wire. Like this is absolutely insane. And unfortunately, neither runner getting the good jump with the echoes on through, having to bomb their way into Terminator.
looks like Nintoaster bonked the waiver, while Freyas didn't. And now they're synced again. And actually, no, they weren't. Both runners just on different platforms.
Y'all, while we're at G4, oh my gosh, this is insane. While we're at G4, go follow those runners. Like, just right now, go do it. You are missing out on so much if you're not following these runners. They're absolutely phenomenal runners. They're putting on an absolutely phenomenal show for us here. You do not want to miss out on what they're going to continue to do in their Super Metroid speedrunning careers, if you will, for lack of a better word. Alright, so as we enter into Torian 1, Frey's having a little bit more to worry about than Nintoaster due to health, but they have already managed that extremely well. The danger, of course, being getting grabbed like you saw happen to Nintoaster.
And it looks like the lead changed again. So the main question here is, who's going to have the lead right at the end?
The best part was how you said that. Like, oh yeah, like this is just a thing. Which is true, it's been happening this whole race. That's insane.
I mean, because the thing is that all the lead changes, I mean, it only really matter at the very end of the race.
We have another small lead change here. Nintoaster and Freya's not with unfortunately
super drops.
Freya's getting not the best RNG, and Nintoaster having that extra missile pack and full supers is not going to really have an issue with this.
Oh, Freyas has... Even if they do get baby skip, they have to be very careful because they need to missile one of the doors because they don't have enough ammo to actually get through. So baby skip wouldn't really be faster anyway.
And Freya is facing the correct direction, facing right, saving those frames, looking back at all that time they saved.
Freya's looking back, so definitely the wrong direction.
And then Toaster gets grabbed! How unfortunate for him. Freya's gonna be the first one out of the baby room.
So that's a bit of a time loss for Nintoaster, unfortunately, because he wasted a ton of time just trying to move the baby Metroid around, unfortunately.
And it looks like Nintoaster's also going to open the first red door with regular missiles and not going to take that refill. It's going to go through at 1910.
So Freyas has to be very careful not to miss a single super right now. Because if they miss a single super...
don't do it. Don't say it, BPS.
I'm sorry,
don't say it.
I'm not gonna say it. Never mind.
The worst curses come in Turian.
What have I done?
Oh
no! What have I done?
No, BPS!
Oh my...
Oh,
what have I done?
How unfortunate! How unfortunate! Unfortunately, Freya's shooting one of their supers into the glass on Mother Brain 1. Mother Brain 1, very, very troll fight, claiming yet another victim to the soft lock. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, those soft locks are just...
and Freya's has forfeit from the race at this point. Very unfortunate, but they did run an absolutely amazing race. Make sure you go follow them.
And now I feel like oh man. Commentator's curse, that's all I can say. But yeah, Frey has put up a very good race. So definitely drop a follow.
We see some chat calling for our heads to not follow the commentators for this one. I don't blame you.
We've both done our fair share of cursing.
Y'all, GG to FreyasSpirit. Indeed, ran one heck of a race. I can't stress that enough. Alright, y'all, get those baby thumps out and ready in chat, because we're about to see one of the saddest things this game has to offer, and that is the death of the baby Metroid.
I'm not actually sure if they have baby thump in this channel.
It's the thought that counts.
Oh yeah.
And there goes the baby, giving its life so that we may hyper beam the crap out of Mother Brain. And Nintoaster doing a 3-shot kill on Mother Brain in the air. Nice quick way to do damage to her.
So that was a really nice Mother Brain 3.
An emergency in Franker Z, y'all!
So now we're gonna see if he decides to go for the animals or not, because now he sees that Freyas has actually forfeit, so there is no risk in his mind for saving the animals. So we're gonna see if he actually decides to go for it, because now he's behind.
Nintoaster.
Now he's behind his PB, so
don't do it. Roast those animals, Nintoaster. Make the right call.
I think making the right call is saving them. But that's just my opinion.
Oh, BPS, don't do this to me.
Oh, I'm doing it.
BPS, not like this. Nintoaster, don't save him. Moment of truth time for Nintoaster. Oh, and he makes the right call!
Yeah, definitely not the right call if you ask me, but I guess everyone's different. And GG to Nintoaster, he has finished in first place with an official SRO time of 51:19. So, GG.
GG indeed to both runners that ran an absolutely insanely amazing race. Make sure you go give them a follow. They both definitely deserve it. FreyasSpirit and Nintoaster deserve follows.
Yeah, that was a really, really good race up until I cursed it, but yeah. Other than that, it was really good.
And yes, let's not forget about our special guest host, Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise.
Yeah. Yeah, follow Poplars as well. She did a really good job commentating. It was a really fun race to commentate.
Absolutely. Make sure you give BPS a follow as well.
I promise that was the first time I've ever cursed somebody in a stream like that. I think. Oh yeah, shout out to Fiesel. We'll drop him a follow as well. He's the one that's been helping out organize this entire tournament.
Yes, and make sure that
streaming.
Yes, and make sure that you also give Fiesel tacos. Every October 3rd, if you put tacos at the top of your basement door, Fiesel will come out to get them. And if you nab him, if you're quick enough, you can ask him any one question that you want.
Wait, really?
Yes.
This doesn't seem real, but okay.
So everybody, we're gonna have lots more Super Metroid coming at you starting tomorrow. I don't know when because pairings have not been out yet, but typically we have a few matches on the Monday. So be ready for a lot more of this Super Metroid multi-category tournament. We are currently just finishing up round 3 of, I believe, 6, and then after that we go on to the final 8, who will have 2 extra categories thrown in of reverse boss order and low ice.
Oh, looks like Nintoaster has followed himself.
Exactly. Follow the runners, follow BPS, follow yourselves, and follow your hearts.
Very poetic. But anyway, because that was the last match of round 3, we're actually going to be seeing round 4 pairings live pretty soon. So if you look at the challenge page, not sure how it's pronounced, but if you look at that, you'll see the pairings go live very shortly. Alright, so everyone get your dear forces out.
Deer Force.
So, for those who don't know, those two categories, reverse boss order and low percent ice, they're, I want to say, polar opposites. Well, not polar opposites, but they're opposites. So, in low percent, most of the difficulty comes from not having items, and in RBO, most of the difficulty comes from just, well, actually not having items. You're not having, you have different items in RBO that you normally wouldn't have in low percent, but the difficulty arises from not having Varia, basically.
All right, well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I am Poplars, and I will see you all next mission. Make sure to follow those runners and BPS.
All right, and I'm Blue Plasma Spark, and thank you all for watching. This has been an amazing race, so yeah, definitely follow all the runners, follow Fiesel, follow Poplars, because it doesn't really get much better than this. And I'll see you all next mission. Thank you all for watching.